Welcome to the Campfire. This week we're taking a deep dive into our last district of the summer, 24-6A. The teams in this district: Brazoswood, Deer Park, Dickinson, Clearbrook, Clear Lake, Clear Creek, Clear Falls, and Clear Springs. And now let's analyze this district in our Randall's Film Session. 24-6A adds one new team during this past realignment, and it's a good one. Deer Park, the Deer, moving into the district, bringing tons of playoff experience. This group has half of its starters returning, including quarterback Landon Kieselhorst, who threw for almost 1,700 yards last fall and 17 touchdowns. Look for Deer Park to use its veteran leadership to push for a postseason spot in this tougher district. Dickinson will again be a favorite here. It's made the playoffs 11 straight years and has some big targets to throw to in Jeremiah Scobie and Mason Peterson. Clear Springs will definitely challenge for the crown with playmakers on offense and experience on defense, led by Zaquan Nunn, who tallied 73 tackles and 7 sacks a year ago. Clear Falls' calling card: it's defense, and the Knights will be strong there again behind Preston Pitts, who had 104 tackles and 6 sacks. Clear Lake will look to Caleb Benjamin for another solid offensive year. He gained more than 1,000 yards last year from scrimmage. Clear Creek is lacking experience at some skill positions, but its O-line is back, and those players should definitely help. After making the playoffs in 2022, Brazoswood took a step back last year as it did not snag a district W, while Clearbrook will rely on Jaden Price and D'Angelo Burrell to help it obtain success in 24-6A.
The Film Session is brought to you by Randall's. Find these great Mott's products on the Chevrolet Inside High School Sports end cap and take your shopping game to the next level.
Chevrolet Inside High School Sports is brought to you by the Houston area Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive.
And for an even deeper look at this district, here's producer Ward Fasold and the Houston Chronicle's John Poorman with the District Breakdown.
All right, district breakdown time. Our last 6A district, our last district in Houston. As we start looking forward to the beginning of the season, John Poorman's joined me to talk about 24-6A. It looks very similar to last year, except for Deer Park is now in it from the now defunct 22-6A. All those teams kind of spread out all over the place. Deer Park is now in here. It's the way they've played over the last couple of years. They've obviously been a power in 22-6A with all the Pasadena teams, but how do you think they're going to fit in here now with the Clear ISD teams and Dickinson, who's always a power down there? How do you think they can get into the postseason, and how do you think they're going to do against some of these squads?
Yeah, Deer Park certainly has a chance to get into the postseason. They've made a habit of that in recent years, and I would expect them to be competitive in this district. As you mentioned, it's going to be more challenging this year. The competition level is going to be raised, I believe, compared to the districts they've been in recent years. But yeah, I mean, Deer Park is a program that's used to winning some games here, and so I certainly think that they can be competitive. And you look at this district, last year, obviously Dickinson led the way. They were 6-0, finished 9-2 overall. Year after year, the Gators are always, in the hunt for district titles, and trying to make some noise in the playoffs under Coach John Snelson. And they've done a really good job. They're just, you look top to bottom at this district, and they're kind of they're somewhat of the gold standard, I think. When it comes to what you want your football program, the consistency to look like.
Well, we'll see. Boy, this has been fun going through all these districts. And if you think we're done, we're not done. We're coming back next week with one more small little breakdown to talk about which of our Houston area teams may be looking to go 4 or 5, maybe even 6 rounds deep in the postseason. Our way too early predictions on who might come through. So stick with us next week. Me and John will come up with some stuff for you.
Sounds good.
Thanks, you guys, and we'll post the entire breakdown segment this Wednesday on our social media pages. And now we're taking a look at some game changers in our Players on the Rise presented by Parker University. Experience is the name of the game for Clear Springs quarterback Julian Salazar. This fall will be his third season behind center. As a junior, he threw for more than 2,000 yards and 12 touchdowns, earning the 24 6A Offensive Player of the Year honor. He certainly has the tools to run it back, too. Salazar connecting on 62% of his passes, and his strong arm helps him hit the long ball. Salazar's main target will be wide receiver Muez Tonkara. Tonkara does it all for Clear Springs. 41 catches, 411 yards, and 4 touchdowns last year, while also making 24 tackles on defense. He doesn't take special teams off either, returning 3 kickoffs for scores. Muez has committed to Arizona for his college football. Jeremiah Scobie is listed as a wide receiver for Dickinson, but he'll be a tight end at the next level. This receiver, easy target in the Gator offense, where he caught 17 passes for 305 yards and 4 scores last year. Scobie has been an integral part of the Dickinson offense for the past 2 seasons, and expect his production to increase big time before he heads to Bowling Green. Mason Peterson is the true tight end for Dickinson and proved why last season. Mason is 6'4", 220, and with his teammate Scobie on the other side, these two hard to miss in the passing game. Peterson catching 25 balls for 311 yards and 5 scores as a junior, and helped the Gators cash in the red zone. He'll be heading to TCU to play his college football.
Players on the Rise is brought to you by Parker University. Check out our bachelor's degree in strength and human performance today.
Our Ward Fasold catching up with Clear Creek head coach Dwayne Lane to talk about his Wildcats in this Media Day segment.
All right, it is Media Day. We are in our final 6A district, 24 6A. I'm joined by Clear Creek head coach Dwayne Lane. And coach, we were just discussing this seconds ago. Let's talk about last year and how you guys pulled that win off in the playoffs against Dawson. If that doesn't give you, you lost the next game, that's fine. But if that doesn't give you the momentum for this year to make you feel like, hey, we may have not had success in the playoffs before, but we can do this. Let's get ready. And maybe that leads into some positive thinking during the offseason that this is not a team to be ignored anymore.
Well, and we do appreciate, I tell you, we're very fortunate and blessed to get that playoff win. Well, what built up to that is it's good and bad. Last year we had a lot of 3-year lettermen. Now they graduated, so now
right.
you know. But you know, because but they've established something now. We went into last season, and you can see behind me this sign here, Rocky.
Right.
Anybody knows I'm a big Rocky fan. But we did what we call Rocky workouts during fall camp, which is about to start. We would practice, we'd come in for a little bit for about an hour, and then we'd go back out and we'd do an hour Rocky workout. And I said, so after being tired and everything, and we put them through these were no fancy equipment or anything, just about like Rocky would do it. We're swinging sledgehammers, we're doing anything you can imagine. We got like 10 stations. And we're putting the kids through it. And I said, when it gets late again in the game, that's going to be our advantage.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Coach. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
And of course, you can catch that entire interview Friday on our social media channels. That's going to do it for this week's Campfire, and we're done previewing the Houston area districts. But next week, we're taking a look at which teams will be serious state contenders. Until then, have a great week, everybody.